Let me put you inside a very common bad day. You own a small business, and you hired a contractor to do some work on your property. Before they started, you did everything right. You asked for proof of insurance. They handed you a certificate, and there it was in black and white. General liability coverage, a healthy limit. Their name, their policy number, all of it looking clean and official. So here is my question for you. The contractor's work causes some damage, a claim gets filed, and the insurance company denies it. How is that even possible? Everyone in this story had insurance. You saw the certificate with your own eyes. So why are you the one left holding the bill? Here is the uncomfortable answer. That certificate you were handed almost certainly did not protect you at all. Today, I want to show you the gap between having a certificate and actually being covered, because they are not the same thing. By the end, you will know exactly what to ask for, so the next contractor's problem does not quietly become yours. And do not feel bad if this has caught you before. It confuses seasoned business owners and brand new agents alike, so you are in very good company. First, let us be honest about what a certificate of insurance really is. A certificate of insurance is a one-page snapshot. It summarizes a policy that lives somewhere else. It lists the types of coverage, the limits, and the dates. Think of it like a photo of a receipt, not the money itself. And here is the part almost nobody reads. Right at the top of that standard certificate, there is a line that says it is issued as information only. In plain English, the certificate itself tells you that it confers no rights and that it does not amend or change the policy in any way. So a certificate is proof that a policy existed on the day it was printed. That is all it promises, nothing more. A policy can even be canceled the very next week, and that piece of paper sitting in your file will never know. Remember, that certificate is usually filled out by the contractor's own agent, often in a hurry, just to satisfy a requirement and keep the job moving. The insurance company on the certificate did not sit down and promise you anything. It may not even know your name is written on that page. So treat the certificate as a doorway, not a destination. It tells you where to start looking, and this is exactly where the real checking begins. Now for the single most expensive misunderstanding in this whole topic. When the contractor listed you on that certificate, there is a very good chance you were only the certificate holder. The certificate holder is just the party who receives a copy of the certificate. That is the entire job of that little box. Being the certificate holder does not put you on their policy. It does not make you an insured. It just means you got mailed the paperwork. The thing that actually protects you is completely different. It is called being an additional insured. An additional insured is a party who gets added onto someone else's liability policy, so that policy can defend and pay on your behalf. Certificate holder gets you a piece of paper. Additional insured gets you actual coverage. Confusing the two is how careful people end up unprotected. Think of it like a wedding invitation versus being written into the will. The certificate holder just gets invited to see the coverage. The additional insured is actually written in. That one distinction, holder versus insured, is where most of these painful surprises are quietly born. So how does a business actually become an additional insured? It usually happens through something called an endorsement. An endorsement is an add-on that changes what the policy covers. The contractor's agent adds an additional insured endorsement to their general liability policy, and that endorsement names you or your company. But here is where it gets slippery, and where a lot of claims quietly fall apart. There are different additional insured forms out there, and they typically do not all cover the same things. Some forms tend to cover you only while the work is ongoing. Once the job is finished and everyone goes home, that protection can switch off. Other forms are written to extend coverage to problems that show up after the work is complete. In the trade, that is called completed operations. So imagine the damage does not appear until months after the job wraps. If the endorsement only reached the ongoing work, there may be nothing left to respond. Some of the newer forms also tighten the wording over the years, so the coverage tends to reach only liability that is caused by the contractor's own work. That sounds like a tiny edit on paper, In a real claim, it can be the difference between the policy stepping in and the policy stepping back. So two contractors can hand you certificates that look almost identical, while the endorsements behind them protect you very differently. And here is a subtle trap. A certificate can even display the words additional insured in a box, and that still does not prove the endorsement was ever attached to the policy. The box on the certificate is just a description. The endorsement on the policy is the real thing, and only the endorsement actually does the work. Let us walk back through that denied claim from the top, now that you can see the moving parts. Picture the same contractor. Their policy was real. Their limits were real. On the day you hired them, everything genuinely checked out. But you were only the certificate holder. Nobody ever added you to the policy as an additional insured. So when the claim came in, the insurance company looked at their own policy and asked one simple question: who is actually insured here? The contractor was insured. You were not. And a liability policy generally only defends the people it actually names. That is the trap. Everyone did have insurance. It just was not insurance that pointed at you. Now imagine a claim like that runs into the tens of thousands of dollars. Without additional insured status, that kind of bill can land squarely on your business. Not because the coverage was cheap or the contractor was a crook, just because one form was missing from a stack of paperwork. And by the time any of this surfaces, the work is long finished. The final check has cleared, and most of your leverage is gone. The contractor may feel genuinely terrible about it, but feeling terrible does not pay a claim. Only a policy that names you can do that. And to be fair, the insurance company here is not being a villain. It is paying exactly what the policy says to exactly the people the policy names. There are two more phrases you will see in contracts, and they matter far more than they sound. The first is primary and non-contributory. It is a mouthful, but the idea underneath it is simple. It means the contractor's policy should pay first, and it should not go looking to split the bill with your own insurance. Without that language, the two insurance companies can argue about who pays, and your policy can get pulled into a fight you thought was not yours. The second phrase is a waiver of subrogation. Subrogation is when an insurance company pays a claim and then turns around to recover that money from whoever it blames. A waiver of subrogation means the contractor's insurer agrees, in advance, not to come chasing after you to get its money back. These are not automatic. Just like additional insured status, they typically only exist if someone deliberately added them to the policy. Put those two terms together with additional insured status, and you have the real trio that serious contracts tend to ask for. The whole point of that trio is to push the risk back toward the party who actually controls the work. In the trade, people call that idea risk transfer. So here is how you protect yourself without needing a law degree. Stop treating the certificate as the finish line. Treat it as the first question, not the final answer. Ask for more than the certificate. Ask for a copy of the actual additional insured endorsement, the underlying form itself. Read that endorsement for one thing first. Does it actually name you or your company? If your name is not on it, you are probably not on the policy. Next, check whether it reaches completed operations, not just ongoing work, especially if problems could surface long after the job is done. If your contract calls for primary and non-contributory coverage and a waiver of subrogation, confirm those are truly endorsed on, not just promised in an email. And do all of this before the work starts. It is far easier to fix paperwork while you are still the one holding the checkbook. While you are at it, make sure the coverage names your correct legal business name, not a nickname or an old entity that no longer exists. Check that the limits on the certificate actually meet what your contract requires, because a real policy can still carry a limit that is simply too low. And because certificates expire, keep a simple reminder to collect a fresh one each time the policy renews, for as long as the work and the risk last. Better yet, write these requirements right into the contract itself, so being properly added becomes a condition of the job, not a favor you hope for later. None of this makes you difficult to work with. Good contractors handle these requests all the time, It is simply how careful businesses hire. So let us bring it all home. A certificate proves a policy existed. It does not by itself protect you. The thing that protects you is being named as an additional insured, on the right form, with the right extra language behind it. Now the important part, and I mean this. Everything I just walked you through is educational, and it is not insurance advice. Policies and state rules vary, and only a licensed agent who reads your actual contract and your actual policy can tell you what you really have. Please talk to one. If this cleared up something that has always confused you, do me a favor and subscribe. We make commercial insurance make sense, one plain English episode at a time. I am Ray. I will see you in the next one.